Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm hanging out with...
Dave.
And today we're talking about, what does your alignment say about you, chaotic good?
Jump down in the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, gain weekly RPG tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
Alright, so chaotic good, you know, it's been described as many different things over the years.
When we did our Lawful Good video, we were actually to find a really nice piece about Lawful Good in the 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. Right. And we're like, wow, they actually did this way better than some of the other editions, including this one. But when we got to Chaotic Good, they found us a little bit.
So I actually, pulled out my 4th edition Player's Handbook, and it had been so long since I had played a game of 4th that I realized that they nerfed the alignment system for 4th edition.
Yeah, we haven't touched 4th for 4 to 6 years.
So it's like,
easy.
All right, you've got, instead of the standard 9, you've got good, lawful good, evil, chaotic evil, or unaligned.
Yes.
So I don't have a section here to compare.
Right, so we're just going to have to just go with Chaotic Good from the Player's Handbook, 5th edition, Dungeons & Dragons, page 122. Chaotic Good, CG. Creatures act as their conscience directs, with little regard for what others expect. Copper dragons, many elves, and unicorns are chaotic good. Boom, done.
So it doesn't say much. It doesn't really have the impact of what I remember from earlier editions.
Yes.
I look at chaotic good, and the things that I speak to are the things that come to my mind are Wolverine. Yeah, the ends justify the means, and as long as the end result of what you're trying to do is going to be a good thing,
almost any superhero vigilante would almost fall into this category. Just by just the act of being a superhero or vigilante pretty much means you've just disregarded the law and have taken it into your own hands. Right. So someone who is chaotic good is more interested in their in their moral compass, which is a good one, and helping others, and they're not really concerned, like it says, they're really not concerned what others think. They're more concerned with justice and right than they are the letter of the law. But because the letter of the law can be manipulated, it extends beyond that too. It also extends to how that person interacts with the world around them, where they may be a bit more carefree and less organized as well. There's like two different aspects to the lawful chaotic access of alignments, right? One of them is we really are talking about laws and conventions of society, and the other one is more of a personality trait of how ordered, how organized are you as a person? How creative, how whimsical are you as a person? So I almost feel like someone could be of the lawful alignment and not really give two figs about the law.
That's true.
It's just they're very disciplined. They're very rigid in what they do. In their mind, what's that?
Military.
It could be, but it doesn't have to be. A type A personality,
right? Well, I'm saying
is lawful.
The military mindset, not necessarily that they were in the military.
Because even though we are talking about chaotic good, but I have to address lawful a little bit because chaotic is the opposite, So, a strongly driven type A personality who actually may believe that their order of doing things is actually superior to, what society has decided, might actually just supersede, theirs over and say, you know what, no, they really are lawful good, but you guys are all doing it wrong. It should be done this way. Chaotic, on the other hand, is, they might not be doing things with rhyme or reason. They're less intellectual, which doesn't mean they're stupid or they can't be smart or have a high intelligence, but it means they're not governed by their intellect. They're governed by their emotions and how they feel. Then you have the good evil axis of the alignment, and this generally dictates their view on the world and how they feel about others and how they feel about accomplishing their goals. Where a chaotic good person may not care about the law for accomplishing their goals, but they would care about maybe hurting another's feelings, injuring them in some other way if they're undeserving. Also, I feel like your chaotic alignments could also be more self-centered, more selfish as well.
I can see that. I mean, it's not a set. It's not a guarantee. It's possible because they're used to seeing things from their perspective, or that they're focused on their goals and their ways more than the other.
Well, I feel like the neutral, the center of the axis is most likely to view everybody's viewpoint. Where the further you get to either end, chaotic or lawful, they're more like tunnel vision on theirs, and then it depends on what part of that alignment really drives them. Is it external or internal, right? So external would be how you perceive society and laws as a whole. Internal would be your personal view on the world. And so like a lot, these are all things that in my opinion, where you can apply alignment to your character and how you play your character in the game. Because let's face it, right? If you have a character that comes from someplace where the laws are different, what does lawful really mean? Whose laws do you uphold, and which ones do you truly value?
Right, and we've created cities where it's like, okay, this is generally a lawful good place, but then we've also made places where it's lawful evil.
Yes.
Kind of setup. So it's like, all right, well, if slavery is okay by the law and you're lawful good, you have to abide.
Yeah, or what about like tribal institutions where maybe might makes right? Now doesn't have to. Now that doesn't necessarily, or survival of the fittest. That doesn't necessarily mean evil or wrongdoing, but there's just a different set of rules that they play by.
Yeah, in a might makes right, you could have a place where trial is by combat.
Or even just competitions, just physical competitions.
True, and in those situations, like. It either could be a system that proxies are allowed or they're not allowed. So, is it a situation where you can manipulate into getting a better champion, or do you physically have to be the strongest one in order to prove that you're right here?
Or like look at the fey courts, right? If you take the winter and summer from whether you want to look at the Dresden Files or actually you just want to look at fairy tales and mythology, right. These are very chaotic societies. But they still have rules.
That's correct.
And they may not make sense to an outsider. Like, the gifting rule is crazy, right? You go there and you're like, oh, here, have something to drink. Oh, you accepted my gift. You're my slave for life now, or whatever they do. And it's not necessarily good or evil in that case. That's their rules. And when you're there, you have to play by their rules. Yep. Or at least you can become victim to not knowing anyway. So it's all kind of like all over the spectrum.
The chaotic good, you have the situation where you're gonna possibly be more passionate, but more disorganized. You're possibly going to you're not gonna be the person who's like, oh well, I'm not allowed to do this, so I'm gonna do it just because. Although that definitely falls within
anti-hero, rebel,
right? But it's a situation where those people who are that way absolutely fall into that spectrum.
I'm just thinking comic books is like such a fun place to go for examples, where you have your Frank Castles, right? By no stretch of the imagination would I ever classify that character as being good nor chaotic, So it becomes more different. He's the perfect example of lawful, in my opinion, in his methodology, in his the way he goes about life.
But at the same time,
he's not evil.
His methodologies are lawful.
Yeah.
But by his actions, he is breaking the law.
But see, that's not synonymous with, in my opinion, anyway, is not synonymous with chaotic. So, it takes a little bit more, right? So I think you're going to lawful neutral good territory, possibly.
So it's a weird breakdown for him, because there's some people that say, well, he is just a straight up murderer, even though he's killing evil people, he's out to kill people. So
yes,
he shouldn't be good.
And that's why alignment is such a hot button topic in D&D, is because so much of alignment is based off of perception and opinion, where it's really hard to pin it down with facts.
Right.
You know,
and each alignment does have, you know, the
wiggle room.
the wiggle room or the balance factor of, okay, well, everything but neutral has two different axes to play with, you know, so it's like, all right, unless I'm dead center in the middle, there's this wiggle room, and when you're true neutral, you're technically on all four axes. You've got technically more wiggle room, but there's some people who have played that alignment, you know, to be like, well, every action needs to be balanced.
Yeah, but we can save that for a true neutral alignment discussion. So, core tenets of any good alignment are essentially, your moral compass is that you want to do right by yourself and others. And generally you're not a selfish person. Chaotic, in my opinion, is the highlights of that alignment are going to be creativity. You're more erratic, more whimsical, more spur of the moment. Yeah. You're more of a rebel, less regard for the conventions of law and society.
The spirit of the law as opposed to the letter.
Yes, yeah, that'd be fair enough. That character would probably be more interested in justice than the law.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that sums that up. So with that, what do you guys think? How do you feel about alignment in general? If you want to discuss it down below, add a little match to that gasoline. And then, in this case, as DM Gareth would say, the argument section. Let us know how you portray chaotic good in your campaigns, how you think of the alignment system. While you're at it, like, share, and subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on Facebook.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.
But when we got the chaotic good, they found us a little bit.
So I actually, pulled out my 4th edition player's handbook, and it had been so long since I had played a game of 4th that I realized that they nerfed the alignment system for 4th edition.
Yeah, we haven't touched 4th for 4 to 6 years.
So it's like,
easy.
All right, you've got instead.
Expect copper dragons, many elves, and unicorns are chaotic good. Boom, done.
So it doesn't say much. It doesn't really have the impact of what I remember from earlier editions.
Yes.
I look at chaotic good and the things that I speak to.
Yes.
All right, so chaotic good, it's been described as many different things over the years.
When we did our Lawful Good video, we were actually to find a really nice piece about Lawful Good in the 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons Player's Handbook. Right. And we're like, wow, they actually did this way better than some of the other editions, including this one.
Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds. I'm Ted, and today I'm hanging out with
Nerdarchy Dave.
And today we're talking about, what does your alignment say about you, chaotic good?
Jump down the description below where you can find Nerdarchy, the newsletter, gain weekly RPG tips, as well as learn how to game with us.
Instead of the standard 9, you've got good, lawful good, evil, chaotic evil, or unaligned.
Yes.
So I don't have a section here to compare.
Right, so we're just going to have to just go with chaotic good from the Player's Handbook, 5th edition, Dungeons & Dragons, page 122. Chaotic good, CG. Creatures act as their conscience directs, with little regard for what others